pandemic trapped a bunch of aging role-playing gamers in their homes, forcing them to crawl out of their pen and paper comfort zone and into the online world of virtual tabletops and video calls. So join them as they raise the curtain to share their stories, insights, and love of all things geek. So grab your longsword and your +1 bottle of Viagra and get ready for another episode of Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast. That's a lot of syllables for one sentence.
Hello and welcome to the Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast. We've got a very special episode for you today. We've got Pelle and Johan from MORK BORG here with us. So happy to have you. But I'm Nathan. I'm one of your co-hosts. And I've also got with me...
Oh, you're waiting for... Okay, I think Matt.
we do this every single time.
You'd think this would actually go off without a hitch, right?
Every single time I like, Matt? And I may or may not edit this out because I think it's kind of funny, but yeah, we're not professionals here. So we want to have you on here because one, I am a big fan of this. This is Matt and I both grew up in the Satanic Panic era, and this is like everything my next door neighbor was worried about, and it just makes me so happy that this is like an actual product, and that people are like buying it and into it. It's
we've actually heard the game being described that way before, and I'm really happy to hear that. Also very happy to be here on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If you guys could take a second and introduce yourselves and your role and what part you took part in creating this wonderful product. So Pelle, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I think I started the book as well, so that's good. I'm the writer of MORK BORG, and it started with some few pages of the rules and classes. That's how it started out. So I'm the writing guy, and that's the only thing I do.
Only the writing.
Yeah.
And I do. I'm Johan, and I want to say I do everything else, but that sounds a bit like I do too much. No, I do the art, graphic design.
And I have to say, what a pair, because I think the combination of the writing, the art, it really evokes, like you've picked a flavor and you can look at it in like 2 seconds and you know exactly what it is, and you open it up and read it, and it's exactly what you thought it was from looking at the graphics. So.
Yeah, I think we picked a direction and we just kept going. Like we went all in on it. We weren't really afraid of exaggerating and being a bit silly, you know. So,
I guess my first question. So, I can see the Stockholm Kartell being thrown around, and like I know you're not. I know Free League is just a publisher, but Stockholm Kartell is the beast that you guys are part of. Can you explain what that is to me? Because I don't really know.
It's kind of complicated because MORK BORG is really a combination. It's a collaboration between Stockholm Kartell with me from Stockholm Kartell, and then Pelle of Ockult Örtmästare Games.
I did see that.
I'm not a part of the cartel. Everyone thinks I am. Also the Free League guys thought I was part of it, but
they don't know it.
But I'm not. I think it's kind of cool now that I'm not a part of it. It's becoming a thing. But
but Stockholm Kartell is really. I think it started as a group of friends with like similar interests. You know, we enjoy games and music and whatever. And then eventually we started like arranging drop-in role-playing games at conventions, and we started making like supplements for games. And this was MORK BORG was the first like proper game I think that we made. No, hang on, it was Barkexan that we made as well, the Swedish horror game. That was also a collaboration with your Pelle's game that we made that I was involved in. So, and now we were starting to do more and more. So yeah.
So how did you guys? So if you're not part of the cartel, how did you guys hook up? How did this collaboration begin?
You posted a picture on your like Facebook page, Pelle?
Yeah, something like that. And you were part of that group, and you said that this looks cool, and I can make some illustrations and layout for this.
This was Body Kexan.
Yeah, the horror game. It's only in Swedish right now. So that's how it started. And that book was very, frictionless, and it was we collaborated really good together, and we were working very fast as well. And I think we enjoyed that very much. Yeah. And that's how it started, how we got to know each other. The first time we met was, it was right before we signed the deal with Free League. Maybe the meeting before that
pretty
signing.
Much.
Yeah.
With MORK BORG, and I think the most of the game was done, and the book was done by then. Yeah. But Body Kexan was, what was that, 2018? Maybe 17, 18?
It was published in 2018, yes.
1759.
Did Free League publish that one, or did you publish that through another?
No, it's a print-on-demand book. Lots of people want us to translate it and do a proper printing. Maybe later.
Maybe one day. But there was also like the idea with MORK BORG initially to do a similar thing, just a small scene. Basically, we didn't know about itch at the time, but basically put it up there. But then someone got the stupid idea of asking Free League if they wanted to publish it, and so they wanted to. So here we are.
So that was a follow-on question. So, it's a great book, but it's unconventional. So, how was the pitch to Free League? Were they excited? Was this something different? How did they react to this? How'd it go?
I don't remember really. We sent them an email because we had announced it in small circles in Sweden, just on Facebook groups or whatever. And had gotten some positive response there. And I think we basically sent the same thing to Free League and said, so we're doing this. It's going to be a bit different. Do you want to publish it for us? Because they used to have, this was before, they used to have a sub-brand called Spindelkonungen Publishing. I think, which was basically the same thing as Free League Workshop is now. That they helped indie publishers or developers publish their games, but they scrapped that project, I think, or that sub-brand. And we basically asked them, hey, maybe you can do that thing again that you used to do, but for this, pick that up again. And I think they actually they had to figure something out in terms of a sub-label for MORK BORG. So I think, I don't know, we shouldn't take credit for a Free League Workshop, but I think it was launched conveniently, right after MORK BORG was released.
Yeah, we've talked about the workshop before. We think it's a great opportunity for individuals and other people to create. So I applaud Free League for that. And if you guys had anything to do with that,
I don't know.
It'd be pretty awesome.
So along that note, what I did notice is that it seems like in all the MORK BORG Facebook groups and whatnot, there are a ton of people doing their own zines and other supplements and kind of add-ons for MORK BORG. And I guess it's I haven't read through the details, but it looks like you guys have been pretty open with hey, if you want to do something for this, go ahead and do something for it. And it looks like with the zines, you've got other non-Stockholm Kartell people providing some materials for it. I think that's really cool, but how does that work if someone wants to, publish something inside kind of the MORK BORG bubble?
You're free to do so. But we have a third-party license that lets you publish basically anything you want, unless it's bigoted shit. But if you have a game idea or a scene or whatever you want to do, some people have published music and all kinds of game accessories. You can do that, and we do not take a cut or anything. You can use they're compatible with MORK BORG logo if you want, or not. Or you can just say that it's compatible.
Yeah, that's one branch. The other branch is the scenes you were showing, the Heretic and Feritor scenes. That's another thing called MORK BORG Cult. And that's more when people send us stuff and we maybe you want to draw something and do the layout and make it MORK BORGish, and then we have published it in those couple of scenes. But there was so much material coming in, so we didn't want to be the bottleneck and stop them, and maybe they had to wait for a couple of years or something. So that's also one reason why we started the third-party license, so that people didn't have to wait for us, and they can make their money on their stuff without thinking about us as well. Yeah.
So I like the whole. I know this is supposed to be black metal, but it seems to me it's like a punk rock type aesthetic.
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of the music I grew up with. So it's. I just appreciate everything about it, and just and especially like choosing the super bright yellow and the it's just everything about it just pulls you right in. You made some really strong choices with
but we didn't know if it would work when we did it. We just that's kind of important to mention. There was some pretty big risk.
And that's the thing is like you went for like we're not huge or anything, but we've got like a little tiny bit of a following, and we had no idea when we started this. It's like we're going to throw this out in the ether and see what happens. We're friends. We're all the guys in the actual play podcast are people we've known for a billion years, and we just like spending time with them. So I kind of like get that feeling where, at least on the Stockholm Kartell, it's you're doing stuff with friends, and at least you know that you're going to like it.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Like we do games that we enjoy, and we do it because it's fun. And if other people like it, then that's just a bonus. That's fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you keep it like a hobby project, and you don't think about dollars or money and success, then I think it's much easier to succeed in what you're doing.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely
totally agree.
Yeah.
So, Matt, do you have anything you want?
No, I was just wondering if I'm sure some people know about it, but did we want to just, before we start going into Cult, just really quick talk about MORK BORG, the setting, real quick, sort of the theme, the setting, and the world, real quick, just for folks who've never heard about it before?
Yeah, sure.
And then I want to talk about the class where you one of your roles is your first flang. And we're going to get into the real good stuff.
Okay, and, I want to talk about that too, but I'll let you do it. But give us the setting. So what do people who haven't picked this up and looked at it, what are they in for? What's the setting?
The setting is actually a bit terrible. It's everything is shit in this world, I think. So the weather is bad. The people are terrible. Luckily, the world is ending, so there's that. No, but it's a super dark fantasy world turned up to 11, and the player characters are also terrible and ugly and broken people. Like that's.
But it was also important to keep them a bit variation there. So it was not only bleak and dark. There's lots of humor and lots of different kind of main characters, so to speak. You have the Countess Bathory up in the north, Antelia, and then you have a Baroque King in the Westland, and different kind of guys moving around in the setting as well. That was important. So when I did it,
So I'm assuming you wrote the setting. Like, did you have these different rulers and this kind of like the land kind of already? Is this something you'd been working on for a while, or is this something that you just part of this came up as part of this project?
It was from the start. It was there was no setting for Mörk Borg. Then Johan was, asking me, we really need a setting or something like that. And
no, I think it was like, wouldn't it be cool if we had a setting as well?
more like, maybe more like that. And I said, okay, let's add a setting. So I did the setting very fast, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks or something altogether. But I had the main structure was in my head already. I wanted the mountains in the west and the Bathory lady and a forest and a graveyard and a psychotic king in the south and stuff like that, and some ruin part like the Grift place in the east. So that was then I just puzzled it together, and it was I did that really fast.
It was like a day or something, or 2 days.
Then we added some few elements to it, some details during the project, but it was.
No, I think it was slightly after that we decided to have this prophecy thing where we also ended the world. Because that was like one of the ideas,
That's what I was wondering, because that's in Heretic, right?
It's in the base book to the whole,
No, that's in base book, That's
in the base book, It's
so I like that you can kind of structure it. To me, it seems like you can structure it, say, hey, if I just want to do a one shot, I just have a Saturday free and I want to play this like a dark game with my friends. You could set like the threshold for the prophecy is like a day or two, and really kind of force the issue. Was that the idea behind it, or what was the whole idea behind the prophecy?
It was if you want to play campaign mode or one shot stuff, like you flip a coin and it's 50% risk that you start a what are we calling it, misery?
Miseries,
misery, and then you can also choose to roll a 20-sided die, and then of course the world will last much longer. If
some people change the die type as well, like they started with a D100 and then they like go smaller and smaller for each time, which is pretty interesting. But that's basically like a D100 is like our campaign mode for every, like there's a bunch of people usually who asks like, oh, what about this game is so deadly you can't play a campaign in it? But like, that's the campaign mode where you watch the world like slowly deteriorate and die and change, because it's like these miseries it's not just physical calamities, it's also like almost the rules of reality that breaks, and like places can shift place with each other, and the distances between two cities can shrink or expand from day to day. So it's sort of like nightmarish or dreamlike world in a way. Can be if you wanted to.
So this kind of is making me think, what were your influences that kind of push you in the direction to create something like this? So I mean, were like horrible things happen to you as a child, or just fed up with the government? Was the music? What made you this way?
Right. What are you going to blame this on?
Right.
Oh, good question. I don't know. Having small children or something.
Boring lives. I had a very normal upbringing and I live a very normal life. So I guess I needed to make something, reflecting all my inner thoughts going on behind the facade. But I think
the music is very influential as well. Like the
music and movies and music is an art. It's very important, more than other role-playing games. Of course, it's inspired by some old school games, but music and art and stuff like that was much more important when we did this.
Favorite 2 bands, favorite 2 movies?
Oh, difficult question. I mean, that changes from day to day.
Yeah. my favorite movies is actually maybe not too Mörk Borg-ish. It's the 2001 A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick movie, and the Stalker movie. That's a bit Mörk Borg by the Tarkovsky version from 79 or something like that. The Soviet version. That's post-apocalyptic, and so it's when it comes to what was the other the genre. Maybe I'm more into. Maybe it's for me it's a doom metal band from England called Cathedral that started out in 1990 from some guys that were playing with the band Napalm Death in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
and they dropped out of Napalm Death, Lee Dorian, and no, it was only Lee Dorian, the singer. The other guy started Carcass, Bill Steer. But yeah, so Cathedral was very important for me. It was the first band that I heard of that was playing really slow music. I was very much into death metal and black metal, and then I heard this doom metal, and that was really cool for me. The second band, I'm not sure, or maybe it's there are so many bands. Second place, or it changed from day to day. Not only metal, but yeah.
I'll always say Nine Inch Nails is my top. How about you, Matt? Do you have a top?
It's tough. So mine are top. I'll say they're top. I don't have a number one. Iron Maiden, heavy metal. I like Pink Floyd, but mostly so metal. A lot of heavy metal, some classic rock, and I still from where we were. I have a soft spot for hip hop as well.
Yeah.
So
for me, Iron Maiden. The first two albums with Paul Di'Anno on vocals.
Oh yeah,
that were a lot more punk metal than when Bruce Dickinson came into the band. The first two records was very important. It's too mainstream for us to mention, but for me, the first two records was really important as well, and I really like those two records.
But I mean, these are classics that will always be there, regardless. Sure.
Yeah, one of my favorite metal songs is "Wrathchild."
That's
from
really
good.
The Killer albums.
Yeah. How about did we Johan?
I mean, it really depends on the day and the time of day. But I think when I did Mörk Borg, maybe right now, it's a lot of doom metal, but also lots of like drone metal and funeral doom. Like it's really atmospheric and super slow. Like if a song is not an hour long, it's not good enough. So. I'm a big fan of Bell Witch, and I mean, obviously, Dope Smoker by Sleep is a classic. But those are really good music to work to as well. You know, you put on a song, and 1 hour later, you're done. So
we also have one thing that I'm really proud of is that Sun, the band Sun, was really influential and important, and I've been listening to them for more than 15 years. And we made a vinyl record called Partisan's Remnant. It's a collaboration with Exalted Funeral and Games Omnivorous. And we Greg Anderson joined on the record and put some guitars on one song. And that was, a milestone for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it was so fun because it was like one of the last stretch goals, and it was basically like a day before the campaign ended that we managed to nail that deal because of his like lawyers or whatever wanted to go through the contracts and everything. But yeah, that was huge to have him on one track.
I always told Matt I have a Kickstarter problem. But that's like the cool thing about it. Like I know they're getting their cut, but just the fact that like anybody out there can produce the thing that they want to produce and bring it to fruition and get it to people, all over the world is pretty awesome. So look at us. It's like the couple of middle-aged guys in the U.S. and here we've got this doom metal
from Sweden of all places.
Sweden of all places, yeah. Who knew about that?
No, I mean, that's a huge thing to break out from. I think thanks to the internet, this new thing that we can break out from your small shitty country and go international. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know if this internet thing's going to take off. I think
maybe not. I don't know. I hope not.
Well, what could go wrong? I mean,
right.
Like I said, we're not a huge podcast, but we're about 30% to 40% given month is non-US.
Yeah,
we're really excited about that. Wow. So it's some of it's where we'd expect, the UK, Canada, but we get, all like India will show up, like all these, and I'm just like, this is such a cool idea that you can reach people at such a large scale, and I think that's and for any of the stuff now with online publications and all this stuff, things like Drive-Thru RPG and other big companies that are making stuff available to everybody.
Yeah, I think when you publish that, you can see the data. You can see if you're doing a Kickstarter, you can see all the countries that you reach. That's pretty incredible to see. There's people in all these countries that are looking at the stuff that you did. It's really dope.
So this Heretic zine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what people are going to get inside of this?
Just a bunch of stuff for everybody, basically. It's a lot of adventures in this scene, actually. I think it's 4 adventures in it.
That's really cool.
That's really, yeah. And a couple of classes and magic items and basically a bunch of, things that you can use in your game. You can use it for Mork BORG or any other grimdark fantasy game. But I think, Adventures is good because Adventures let you actually play the game without much preparation. So that's, you'll have a lot of hours of play, I think, in this scene.
Yeah, and we added, like in Ferritory, we did the same thing. We want to add some official stuff as well. So we did some 3 or 4 things for the Heretic scene as well. And a generator as well.
You can generate a cult,
It's a cult in Heretic, and it's a monster generator in Territory. Yeah. So and some other things as well. So that's yeah.
Not having read through all of the adventures, are they all? Because are they all set in that massive graveyard?
No, they're not.
No.
There's 2 of them actually here that happen to be in Graventosk. One is pretty cool. That's the Graves Left Wanting by Carl Druid, which is meant to be a post-TPK adventure. So, if you all die, which can happen, you wake up in this graveyard and you're back alive again, maybe, and you're in this graveyard trying to figure out what happened. So that's pretty cool. But then there's one adventure that you can place pretty much anywhere. It's a small dungeon, and then there's one swamp dungeon with a bunch of snakes and cults and drugs and that sort of themes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's I thought it was interesting the decision to put in feats, because people that or your D&D fans are used to feats from D&D 3.5 and on. So I thought that was a pretty, you're kind of an OSR type game. I thought it was pretty interesting to add feats to this, and they're all pretty gnarly. I have to say.
That's a good alternative to classless characters, I think is the idea. So you can sort of almost make your own class if you pick and mix these feats. Some of them are pretty out there. I mean, that's the thing where I think a lot of the content for Mork BORG, it's not really super balanced, and it's not meant to be. No. If it's a cool thing, we'll add it, and don't worry too much about it. Maybe that's the OSR way as well.
Yeah, I like that. And Matt, I know you want to ask about the Shedding Vicar, so I'll let you go ahead and
Well, so the shedding vicar. Whose idea was that?
Or, I think he's trying to say, "What the fuck?
What the fuck is this?" No, that's Cameron James, the guy who sent it to us. This is the cult project or the cult thing, where people will send us stuff. And we got sent this weird fucking class, and we kind of liked it. I don't know, it's super odd. I have never seen an equivalent of that class in any other game.
It's really cool.
I just, for anyone who hasn't seen this, I just want to say there is a table in this book, in the character for you to roll, called Your First Peel. That's part of your background. And so that's where we're going with this. This is exactly what it sounds like.
A little bit of flaying action. So if
you're basically like flaying cleric or like a flaying zealot or something, that your skin can do wonders if you just remove it first.
I really thought like Warhammer was dark. That's like unicorns and puppies,
right?
Yeah, I mean, the impending apocalypse makes people do crazy things.
So with the cult project, has anyone ever sent you like a character concept or anything, and you guys have looked at it and gone, "Oh, we can't even do this"? Like, has there ever been anything you've had to just like put away on a shelf?
Yeah, I mean, there's not for that reason, but more like we don't have time to do it because there's so much.
Yeah,
but. I mean, there's some things like we don't aim to provoke or anything. Like we just do things that we think is cool. So if people send us just provocative stuff, we probably won't pick it up. So that's not what we're doing. But yeah, nothing too crazy yet.
Yeah, just like not edgy for being edgy, but there has to be like kind of a point to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's very important.
So, and it has to be like fun for the people who actually play it at the table. Like it's. I think being edgy and provocative is too easy. Like anyone can do that.
So, have you ever seen that game from White Wolf, Hole, HOL?
Oh yeah, no. I know which one you mean.
I was going to bring it up here because first time I saw this, it made me think of Hole, but. So Hole, if you guys haven't seen it, Google it. It's a game White Wolf put out in their under their Black Dog publishing header, and it was for the kind of crazier stuff. And it was a human occupied landfill is what it stood for, and the art was amazing, and some of the style to it was very similar. To these, very very avant-garde, but I played it once and it wasn't really playable. It was fun. I had fun. It was a great time. But it was like, okay, I played it once. It's gonna stay on my shelf. I'm gonna pick it up and read through it every once in a while. Just go, oh yeah, that's crazy, and put it back. But this, there's not only with the base book, but with the zines and what the community is coming up with, you could really make like you said, like a long campaign out of this, or multiple campaigns, depending on if you have.
It's a game you can play.
Yeah, you can actually play it. So that's just me saying kudos to making something that's like very artistic and it's something that you could just pick up to read through, but also you can put down, grab some dice and play with your friends. So. I think this is a great supplement for that. So with the curses in here, there's more magic items and the adventures, and you this isn't really a gaming thing, not that a lot of nerds worry about, but the pricing is super reasonable too. Is nothing really holding you back from just dropping a few dollars into this. It's very affordable.
I think that was very important for us as well too. I mean, we don't really set the price because we have the publisher Free League does that, but I think we have expressed like we want it to be affordable. I think because it's like part of the whole vibe. I think that everyone should be able to play it and pick it up. And, as long as we cover the cost for, production and time and whatever. So, yeah, there's no reason for us to charge a whole lot for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out with the core book, I think. It's quite cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think $25 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not too much. Yeah.
We, of course, import those from Sweden, but I got it at my local store, both of these, and it was, I think it was like 40 some odd bucks for the two of them.
Yeah.
So that's nothing for if you see our bookshelves. So I'm super curious about Cyborg and where that's at right now, and when am I going to get it?
You're going to get it soon. I mean, if you're a backer, you'll get it in a week. You'll get the PDF. Actually, wow. Yeah, the 13th. We're going to send out the PDFs. We're going to do a bit differently this time because usually we don't want to send out PDFs until people have the physical book. Mm-hmm. But now there's a global paper shortage. So unfortunately, the print was a bit delayed. And so to compensate for that, we'll send out the PDFs first. But yeah, that thing is, I'm emailing and on the phone with the printers pretty much every day now because it's at the printers being produced. So yeah, lots of milestones being hit almost daily now with that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But so I know what Cyborg is. Do you want to tell everybody what the world is, or our 5 listeners?
Yeah, don't sell it short. It's 10 for sure.
It's all you 10 people. No, but Cyborg is basically it's a cyberpunk spin-off game to MORK BORG. In short, it's you play as punks and misfits who are being you're basically raging and fighting against this oppressive system and against the corporations and the cops and the powers that be. And it is as apocalyptic, I would say, as MORK BORG, but in a different way. I think, the world is still ending, but it's modern times now.
So by world ending, do you mean there's going to be no more Wi-Fi after 7 days, or?
There are. We have miserable headlines instead of miseries. So you're basically doom scrolling. So there's going to be new headlines more or less regularly, and they will culminate into some sort of catastrophic event. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be It's going to be it's a big game. I think it's twice the size of MORK BORG, the core book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but equally minimalistic, I think, in rules.
So what's taking up all that extra space? Is it? I know with a lot of cyberpunk type games, there's a lot of gear porn.
No, we don't do that. There's no. We try to avoid that and keep it simple. Basically, it's a bunch of generators and inspirational tables, I think, to add just game, add play. So there's a mission generator, there's a cult generator, a corporation generator, that's this type of stuff. And also an introductory adventure, just like in MORK BORG. And it's a lot of things. It's a big game for us, at least. So, and I think hopefully it's going to be a bit different than other cyberpunk games because it's very clearly anti-establishment. And it's very clearly against the corporations. Maybe you have to work for them or they're lackeys without wanting to because they're they're in everything in the game setting, but you are ethically or morally against them. At least it's very important.
Cool. Yeah, I like so the heavy use of the random tables is fun because even as a GM, I find that when you have a game system that has a lot of randomizer elements in it, because often as the GM, you're never shocked by anything, right?
No,
If you're running it, you know what's behind the door, you know how many. Adding in things where, as the GM, even if it may be just in prep work, where you're rolling in random, it almost lets you play. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't pick it. If you stick to as the dice come out, you can kind of have that adventure yourself, either as the game is going on or in prep, and that's kind of cool. I as a GM, some of the game systems that I've run, some of them are very, very set piece standard systems, but the ones with the rolls that are random, especially random as an event's occurring, it's kind of cool because I don't know what's going to happen.
No, exactly.
I think it's a neat element,
That's very important. Like also for MORK BORG, the random tables. So the surprises for the game masters as well. And they, keep your imagination going, and you have to improvise. I think it's very good for good role-playing sessions.
Yeah. I think you can even like roll it in the open, and maybe I think even show like the table that you're rolling on. Like, here are all the results, and I'm going to roll on it. We'll see, like, be open that it's random. So, and like involve the players. Like, okay, so now this happens. I have no idea what this means. What do you think? Like, why don't you, point at a player, explain who this is, or like describe this thing. So that's, I think that's fun. You can be a bit more collaboratively role playing.
Yeah, I've noticed as a trend is like, instead of just telling them, it's a lot more, because often you're just you, right? You've got your ideas, right? But suddenly it's like you turn around and go, hey, you described the inside of this tavern, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They might like totally take it down a different path, but that's sort of incorporating. I know in our podcast, we don't do it all the time, but we started asking people like, oh, how does he die? How do you kill him?
Yeah,
what's that final blow look like, right? And let them kind of embellish.
Take the reins for a while. Yeah. No, I really like that. And you can do that for bigger or smaller things as well. Like, I usually always do the kill shot thing, where you're like, oh, so I have to explain what does it happen, but also like, oh, why don't you play this NPC? Just see what happens. So,
yeah, I think that kind of stuff is fun. Is because it takes some of the load off of the GM.
Yeah.
And then, and the players can really surprise you with the things that they come up with that now is, a canon part of your world, and that, they're helping build alongside you. So I love that kind of stuff. And
me too.
As a GM, I really want to be a player too. So
right. It's like, instead of one brain figuring all these things out, you have 5 brains doing that.
Yeah.
So
And it'll be better in the long run too, because I could be the best GM in the world, but when you have like 5 or 6 other talented, funny people around you, then you could it's gonna be 1,000 times better. So
yeah.
So I don't think we asked, and I know we talked about music and stuff, and this may be a little. Do you guys? So do you guys play role playing games, or did you play them growing up, or is this a more current? Or
no, but I mean, I barely play nowadays. I never have time for that. I think that's the curse of the game designers. But
that's sad.
We both, I think we started at roughly the same age.
Yeah.
Like around 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah, but I was 10 years before Johan.
It was 10 years before, yeah. But, like when I was born.
Yeah.
But that seems to be about the right age. That's about when I started, was around 10.
Yeah. Now lots of parents want to, play with the kids and tell them the rules of the game and stuff like that. But my parents didn't know anything about what the role-playing game was, so we read the books ourselves and tried to play. And that was, in the early 80s for me, or the mid-80s. And
Yeah.
That
mid-80s for me.
Yeah, it was the first golden age in Sweden when it comes to role-playing games. It was really big here in the mid-80s, and then now we're in the second golden age, I think, since maybe 5 or 7 years back and moving forward. So thanks a lot to Kickstarters and
Free League.
Free League is very big now.
They are becoming quite they have. Every time I turn around, there's a new title dropping. Right? I can't keep up.
The One Ring, and now Blade Runner, and then this
Death in Space.
Alien.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's also a Stockholm Kartell thing, though. It's very similar to MORK BORG. Yeah.
Oh, which one was that?
Death in Space. Yeah, it's the same deal.
okay, I wasn't sure, like, oh, how many of these other things should I bring up? So I've been reading The Death in Space, and the first thing I thought is they really have borrowed some elements. My thoughts were they've really borrowed some elements from the MORK BORG. Like, art plays a big part in the book. It's not just page after page of text from top to bottom. You know, this idea of the dying universe, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm not off. Now I get it. Like,
You're not
I'm
off.
reading
No,
it.
it's from the same group. It's from the same Discord. So
these guys, they've definitely got it. The universe is ending no matter where they go. So
that's that's a common theme. It's a very. I mean, have you looked at the climate crisis? You know, it's
right. Yeah. Where do they get the inspiration from?
I don't know. What's going on?
Yeah. So if you're going to take the cyborg and overlay it on our current times, what day are we on in the end of the world?
Oh, we're close. Yeah, that's a couple of these headlines. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, that's interesting. All right, yeah, that's.
I was actually involved in very little though, but in Death in Space and worked a bit on the art there. But it's mostly Carl and Christian, two other guys. And you wrote something about it.
I did a spread.
Yeah, that's right. The cults.
The cults, of course. Some space cults going on, but yeah. But really getting cool. Back to your question, nowadays I was playing very much back in the 80s, and I want to try to play a lot more than I actually do now. So it's on console, places like that I play. We are going to a con with MORK BORG for the first time in 2 years. Next week, actually, to Gothenburg.
Oh, wow.
It's a really big, the biggest, I think, in Sweden.
Oh, the GothCon
convention. The GothCon, it's called. And so it will be really nice to meet people and show our game 2 years
after the launch.
It's gonna be nice. I try to play games. I'm playing The One Ring with my kids. They watch the Hobbit movies and Lord of the Rings, and so they know the setting. And so we're playing around with the One Ring game. It's really.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's very rules light, and it's the system is really easy actually, and you can
nice.
you can scale it down or scale it up depending on how much crunch you want. So it's we're having a great time with that.
I should get that actually.
The maps are very important in the game, as in the books. The kids love the maps. So they're looking at the maps, and we want to go there, and we want to go there, and then they go back to Hobbiton and relax with Bilbo and remove some shadow points and stuff like that. So we're having a good time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's they want to smoke a lot of pipe.
I mean, it's just to pretend, so you can.
Thanks, Tolkien.
Yeah. Sure, you can smoke the pretend weed with your kids.
Best in the South part.
Right? Oh, I wish to play more. Damn, I realized that. I mean, not because of that, but I realized like last year I only played twice role-playing games.
Oh no.
That's terrible. So I need to step up my game, I think. You never have time to do that. Like I have small kids and a regular job, and then this thing on top of it, which I can't stop doing. So because I love it. So yeah. We'll see what happens.
The pandemic got us to do this, right? We all got sent. We were lucky. We kind of Nathan tended to work out of an office anyway, right?
Yeah, from home.
Yeah, and then I was home, and we'd been trying to role play for real, and I think our group is actually called Once a Month or Whatever because life, it's like And so I think Nathan started the Tuesday night game that turned into the podcast. So they'd already had a Tuesday night game, and we just started recording it. So, we've been it's the most consistent gaming since college, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And too much gaming in college. This has been nice and consistent.
No such thing.
Yeah, but that was a different time. I mean, that was the same for me. It was not particularly like college per se, but like when we were back in school, we played like 3 times a week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like that's what I play in a year now.
And you can stay up all night if you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I know those terrible jobs. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Having to pay for stuff and food and boarding. And I mean, I knew I was going to like this interview anyway, but I had a blast talking to you guys. Love reading through this stuff. Can't wait to see get my Cyborg PDF soon. And
very soon.
It's the entire reason he set this up, just to ask you when he's going to get the PDF. It's shameless. He's got a sickness. It's a sickness.
I'm a selfish person.
Yeah, it's
totally just awful. But yeah, this is a great meeting you guys, and love the stuff. Keep it up. I think with all this stuff coming out, it's just gonna be just going to get better and better for you guys, and hopefully. Quit your day jobs and
live the dream, right?
Thank you.
But anything else you guys want to say or promote or shout down or complain about before we sign off?
I don't think so, really.
No,
we
it's we are very thankful for all of the support we're getting from so many people. We didn't expect that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like somehow this terrible fucking game has amassed a really good community and a really good following, which I deeply appreciate. So, thank you for that.
It speaks highly of the psychology of us collective gamers, right?
Right.
This is the game we've been waiting for. I want to peel skin before the world ends. Because I think, as a GM, I don't probably like to play, but that's who I would be playing. That would be my. I've already zoned in on that's going to be the character if I play.
Yeah, right. That's good.
Well, thanks so much for staying up late with us, and hope you. Thanks again, and look forward to hopefully talking to you again sometime in the future.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah, great meeting y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.